Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the Cho Show. We are live, we are in color, and we have quite the show for you guys tonight. Um, Kind of breaking news, to be honest. Like honestly, this is breaking news. Um, oh wait, this is not what I wanted. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day. Um, my day's been phenomenal. It is Wednesday. We're almost done with the week. We've got 2 more days to go. We can do it. I just first want to, before we get into tonight's stream, I want to give a shout out to everyone that's been commenting, liking, and engaging with my last 2 videos that were out. I did a video about the Trump supporters that were discriminated against at a Smoothie King in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And the comment section is hot. Okay. The comment section is hot. I love to see it. I'm being dragged nonstop in my own comments. I don't mind that. I don't mind people who dissent against my opinion. But I'm just happy that you guys are engaging and that it's something that you find worth commenting on. So before we get into the main story, I want to always start every live stream off with a reading from the Daily Stoic. I find that that's really important for me to read this book daily, and I thought it would be prudent of me to share this wisdom with you guys. After we get into the reading, then we'll get into today's headline. So today's entry is March 18th, Impossible Without Your Consent. Today I escaped from the crush of circumstances, or better put, I threw them out, for the crush wasn't from outside me, but in my own assumptions. This is Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. On tough days, we might say my work is overwhelming, or my boss is really frustrating. If only we could understand that this is impossible. Someone can't frustrate you. Work can't overwhelm you. These are external objects, and they have no access to your mind. Those emotions you feel, as real as they are, come from the inside, not the outside. The Stoics used the word hypolepis, which means taking up of perceptions, thoughts, and judgments by our mind. What we assume, what we willingly generate in our mind, that's on us. We can't blame other people for making us feel stressed or frustrated any more than we can blame them for our jealousy. The cause is within us. They're just the target. I find that to be really important. I find it to be really important to be reminded of that, because I just feel like we live in a time where we are so easily triggered. You know, you see something online and you immediately want to fly off into a rage, or you've got someone who is causing you stress and then you take that at home into your home life. We have to remember that we have control over our reactions. We don't control other people. Yes, people can do disappointing things. People can do things with the intent to hurt you or frustrate you, but it is ultimately you who has the responsibility to control yourself, right? So that is the Daily Stoic for March 18th, Impossible Without Your Consent. Okay, let's get into the live stream tonight. Welcome to the Cho Show. Welcome to the viewers. Hey Harvey, hey Ryan. Sit back tight. We've got a couple videos to watch. We've got some things to discuss. Trump is a insanely unpopular person right now because we've got kind of some breaking news here. I want to talk about Joe Kent, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, who, by the way, serves directly under Tulsi Gabbard and President Trump. I just want to give you a little bit of context before we get into what Joe had to say about his recent resignation from his position. I need you to understand that Joe Kent is basically, in terms of rank, kind of the third in command, right? Trump is number one, Tulsi Gabbard is number two, and right under her is Joe Kent. So this is someone who, he's a veteran who has been a staunch Trump loyalist. He has a litany of military experience, intelligence experience, and a longtime conservative that has espoused America First beliefs. And I just want to put that out there at the beginning of this video because I know for a fact that the maggots and the MAGA loyalists and the people that are extremely loyal to Trump to a fault are now going to malign him as un-American. They're going to say he's a traitor. He's going to say that, believe me, mark my word, these MAGA influencers, these establishment rhinos, Republicans, and these war hawks, these neocons, they're going to try to destroy this man. They might even try to lock him up. Quiet as it's kept. Believe me, mark my words, they're going to try to destroy this man if they have not already begun to do so. I haven't really been on social media, so I don't know what the reaction is. We're going to watch Trump's reaction and Tulsi Gabbard's reaction and a couple others, but I don't know what the general public is saying about this, but I'm going to tell you my feelings about it. But before we get into that, let's actually read his resignation. Before we get into that, just a reminder that everything in these videos that I do is fair use. I'm commenting, I'm educating, I'm educating the girls with my opinions, my conspiracy theories. This is all fair use. So let's get into his resignation. I'm going to read it verbatim just so that we all have understanding about what's going on. He says, President Trump, after much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. Facts. I support the values and the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, 24, which you enacted on your first term. Until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. Facts. I want to interject here and just say real quickly that President Trump was lauded in his first term for being the president of peace, right? For being the first president in a very long time to understand that the conflict in the Middle East is something that we should not be intervening in at the cost of American prosperity. I'll continue. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Qasem Soleimani and by defeating ISIS. Early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sold pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States and that you should strike now. There was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie. Well, we know that. We know that. This was a lie. It is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into the disastrous Iraq war that cost our nation the lives of thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again. Too late. As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shanna in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. I pray that you will reflect upon what we are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. The time for bold action is now. You can reverse course and chart a new path for our nation, or you can allow us to slip further toward decline and chaos. You hold the cards. It was an honor to serve in your administration and to serve our great nation. Joseph Kent, Director, National Counterterrorism Center. This is crazy work. This is a crazy work. To have basically one of Trump's top officials come out and resign in this fashion. But I really want to talk a little bit about some of the reactions, because while his resignation and the things that he's saying in his resignation is interesting, I find the reaction to him even more interesting, and you're gonna hear why. Let's check in with Tulsi Gabbard. Let's check in with Tulsi. Because this is Joe Kent's boss. Okay, this is who he reports to. Reminder that she is the director of the National Intelligence. Okay. So let's read her tweet, her response to Joe quitting. She says, Donald Trump was overwhelmingly elected by the American people to be our president and commander-in-chief. As our commander-in-chief, he is responsible for determining what is and is not an imminent threat, and whether or not to take action he deems necessary to protect the safety and security of our troops, the American people, and our country. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence is responsible for helping coordinate and integrate all intelligence to provide the President and Commander-in-Chief with the best information available to inform his decisions. After carefully reviewing all the information before him, President Trump concluded that the terrorist Islamist regime in Iran posed an imminent threat, and he took action based on that conclusion. Okay, so this is the biggest non-response response I have ever heard in my entire life. Tulsi Gabbard is ducking, backpedaling, pussy popping. She's doing everything but respond. Okay, this whole post, this whole tweet is a non-response. And if you read between the lines, what she is really saying is that she might actually agree with Joe Kent. Now remember, Tulsi Gabbard is the woman who went around talking about how no wars with Iran, no wars with Iran, no wars with Iran. In fact, you can see right down here, she's being dragged. She's being dragged. This cunt is the one who came up with shirts that said "No war with Iran." Well, the girls want to know: are the T-shirts still available for sale? Can we still buy those T-shirts off your website, Tulsi? The girls want to know. Look, the girls are dragging. She's being dragged. The girls are dragging. The girls are dragging. Do you share Trump's conclusion? Obviously, she doesn't. Because if she did, she would have said so in the tweet. But instead, she tells us exactly all the bullshit that we already know. We already know we voted for Donald Trump. We already know that he has the ultimate decision. We already know that he made the decision that they were an imminent threat. What Joe Kent your employee is saying is that he made that decision based off of Israel. A position you probably have, but you're unwilling to say it because you can't go against Trump. These people are cowards. And this is why Donald Trump is a terrible leader, because he only allows yes men in his administration. You cannot work with Trump. You cannot work under Trump without sucking his dick. There is no such thing as dissenting against Trump when he's the president, because you get fired, or you get caught up in a scandal, or you get discarded, right? And so Tulsi, in this bunch of mishmash gobbledygook that she calls a tweet, a response, she's not saying anything. But the fact that she's not saying anything speaks volumes. Because what that tells me is that she actually agrees with Joe Kent. But if she says that she agrees with Joe Kent, her job will also be on the line. Craziness. But let's go further. Are the claims that that we're doing this because of Israel's pressure true? Well, don't look for me for my opinion. How about we ask Secretary of State Marco Rubio? Let's see what he thinks. Why did we start this war? What did he think? This is reporting by Brute America, the YouTube channel. This is Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He told the reporters on Capitol 2 Mondays ago or 3 Mondays ago that the imminent threat that prompted strikes on Iran was the fact that Iran was going to be attacked, which therefore meant that Iran was going to attack us. The logic is crazy, but let's just watch it together. The
second question that's been asked is, why now? Well, there's two reasons why now. The first is it was abundantly clear that if Iran came under attack by anyone, the United States or Israel or anyone, they were going to respond against the United States. And in fact, to bear to be...
So let's break that down, what he just said. Let's break this down. He says that it's true that, and this is what the case he's making is that they are an imminent threat. He says if they were going to be attacked by anyone, and by anyone he could only mean either the U.S. or Israel, if they were going to be attacked by anyone, that they would respond by attacking U.S. Allies and or initiatives. I don't think you need to be the Secretary of State to understand that if you punch somebody, you might get punched back. This is like the bully on the playground who says, "Well, listen, if I went around to locker room and I punched that little scrawny boy out, he was gonna hit me back. So instead, I punched him first." What? But let's keep listening.
True, because in fact, within an hour of the initial attack on the leadership compound, the missile forces in the south and in the north, for that matter, had already been activated to launch. In fact, those had already been pre-positioned. The third is the assessment.
So again, this administration is so disgusting and pernicious. So again, the rationale that he just told us, that the reason we attacked Iran is because if they were attacked first, they were going to respond with an attack, that they were ready to defend themselves. The fact that they were ready to defend themselves against us is the reason we attacked. The fact that they're ready to defend themselves is what made them an imminent threat. That's what he just said. Sit with that for a second. That's what he just fucking said. The fact that Iran was ready and prepared to defend itself against Israel and the US means that they are an imminent threat and needed to be attacked first. Let's keep listening.
That was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
So it was Israel. So we attacked them first because we knew what Israel was going to attack them. This makes no sense. So essentially what he is saying is because Israel attacked them and they knew that they would attack us in response, that gives us the right to attack them first. This is crazy, y'all. This is absolutely crazy. The reason Iran is attacking this, I cannot believe I have to explain this to you guys, but I know that the maggots in the comment section, I know that the Trump retards are going to be furious with me because they are just so used to sucking Trump's dick and they just love his cum so much. But let me explain why Iran did the right thing in attacking U.S. sites. The reason why they did that is because the power that Israel has directly comes from us. So if Israel is attacking them, that automatically equates to the U.S. attacking them. Because what artillery is Israel using? U.S. artillery. So no shit they're going to respond from Israel attacking them by attacking U.S. sites, because Israel attacking anyone is essentially the U.S. attacking people. I'm going to have an aneurysm. I'm going to have an aneurysm because you guys don't understand very simple 1 + 1 = 2. It's like, do you know how many billions of dollars our government has given Israel for their wars in the Middle East? So no shit. Of course Iran is going to respond by causing chaos and flailing around like the animal that it is as a country. I don't get the shock and surprise. I don't understand the shock and surprise. How are you shocked that Iran was going to respond? Did you expect them to just be attacked and not respond? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So anyway, the reason I wanted to show Marco Rubio is because what Joe Kent said in his resignation letter about us attacking them because of pressure from Israel, Marco Rubio just confirmed it. So people want to say, oh no, we're not doing this for Israel, but that tends to be the message we continue to get from Trump's own administration. So which is it? I don't know. Which is it? But let's go to what Trump has to say, because Trump had some things to say about 24 hours ago about Joe Kent's resignation. And I kind of just wanted to go over that. This is from Forbes Breaking News. Thank you, Forbes Breaking News. By the way, shout out to Forbes Breaking News. They always have a lot of great clips. They have longer clips with the full context, but they also slice and dice things that are more easily consumed. So I appreciate them for that. Let's take a look at this somewhat long clip about President Trump reacting to Joe Kent resigning.
Mr. President, your Director of National Counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that? And did you
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy.
Okay, so stop. I have to already stop this. So Trump just said he's always thought that Joe Kent was weak on security. You just heard him say that, right? Trump thought he was very weak on security. So you mean to tell me that you have a guy at the top? I mean, this is the number 2 person in terms of intelligence, security, and for the United States of America, the number 2 person in the country in your administration, and you think he's very weak on security. Does this make any sense to you guys? So was he weak on security when he was placed in the job that he has today, or 2 days ago? Or is he now weak on security because he disagrees with you? Which is it? When was he weak on security? All the time that he was in your administration, or now that he disagrees with you? Which was it? Let's keep listening.
But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. And many people, many of the greatest military scholars are saying for years that presidents should have taken out Iran because they wanted a nuclear weapon. They were, if we didn't do the attack, or if, I'll go a step further, if I didn't terminate the Iran nuclear deal given to us, one of the worst deals ever made by Barack Hussein Obama. Remember when they said,
oh my God, he cannot get Obama's dick out of his mouth. He has Obama's name in his mouth 24/7. I don't know what happened to Trump and his Obama derangement syndrome, but he has a bad case of Obama derangement syndrome. Like a really terrible case.
Boeing 757s over there, loaded with cash. Hundreds of millions of dollars. You would have been very happy. This was a wonderful. They said hundreds of millions. People forget that. Does anybody remember? Right? You remember. Hundreds of millions of dollars in a Boeing 757.
I have to say, I love whenever Trump talks about numbers. Hundreds of billions of dollars and hundreds of millions. I love him. He makes me laugh sometimes.
I think there are 2 of them loaded. They took the seats out and they put cash. And it was so much that there wasn't a bank in Virginia, Maryland, or D.C. that had any money left. They stripped them of all their money, put it into place, sent it to Iran, almost as ransom. That's not going to happen with Trump. And nobody ever did anything about it. Nobody ever said anything about it. Can you imagine if I did that? So they've been a threat for a long time. But they've really been a threat if...
So stop. Again, I hate the fact that politicians constantly piss on us and then tell us it's raining. They flip-flop on positions so much, but the internet is forever. The internet is forever. I wish I was better prepared for tonight's live stream, because I would show you a myriad of clips of Trump talking about how Iran is not a threat. How getting in a war with Iran is the last thing you want to do. How regime change in Iran is not something he's for. Like, there are so many clips of Trump with the completely opposite view, the complete opposite perspective. So it's strange to me to hear him say, well, Iran's always been a threat. They've always been a big threat. They've always been a problem. They've always been needing to be taken out. Well, that wasn't the same energy you had 10 years ago. That wasn't the same energy you had your last administration. It's mind-boggling. And you guys eat this shit up with slop. You guys let politicians lie to you. No. You let them lie to you. Eat it with both hands. Both hands you eat the lies up. It's crazy.
If I didn't terminate Obama's horrible deal that he made, the Iran nuclear deal, you would have had a nuclear war 4 years ago. You would have had nuclear holocaust, and you would have had it again if we didn't bomb the site. So when somebody is working with us that says they didn't think Iran was a threat, we don't want those people because, and there are some people, I guess I would say that, but they're not smart people or they're not savvy people. Iran was a tremendous threat. And virtually every NATO nation, and this is the thing, if they told me it wasn't a threat, and therefore they don't want to help, but when they say it was a threat, and it was a major threat, every one of them, I think every one of them, I don't know of one that said they're not a threat, but when they say it was a threat, but we're not going to help, I think they're very foolish. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting.
So I'm going to stop right there. I'll have you know that not one single NATO nation is going to help us in this war with Iran. I make exception to that. There is one, France. But every other NATO nation has come out against this war, and they're not helping us and Israel in this war. So he's calling the other countries foolish, but I think it's you that's foolish, Trump. It's you that is foolish. Because you got into war, you started this war, and now you're asking for help. You started this war, and now you're asking for help after you did what everyone told you not to do. So it's strange to me. Very, very strange. It's very strange to me. I want to show one more clip before finishing this little segment. Then we can open it up to questions and get into it back and forth. I got some comments there that I really want to respond to. Hey Ryan, I see your comments. Hey Lee, I see you here. But I want to get through this first before responding to comments. Yeah, let's go to a clip that I find really captures how I feel about this topic. This is Cigar from Breaking Points. I like him. I'm a decent fan of him, his commentary style. I tend to hold a lot of similar positions with him. So let's see his thoughts on what's happening right now.
This is the National Director of Counterterrorism, highest security clearance in the entire United States government. Iran pose no threat to the United States. Number one. Number two, Israel is the person manipulating intelligence. Israel pro-war lobby. Those are the people who convinced you in order to go into war with Iran. This is one of the most shocking resignations of the entire Trump administration. I think it might be the first, real big one of somebody who was aligned with the America First movement. And let's consider the consequences here. They are going to try and destroy this man.
That part.
I guarantee you, they will try to indict him.
They're
going to say he breached his. They're going to say he breached his security clearance by sharing information. He was never a real patriot. He was somebody, he was MAGA or a snake, something like that. Anti-Semite. The full stop of the pro-war machine and the U.S. government are going to destroy this man.
They will.
Just watch and wait. And especially if he starts going on the podcast circuit and talking, do not forget, that this is somebody who deployed to combat multiple times, special operations background, Gold Star husband, doesn't matter. They're going to do everything that they possibly can. But this should be wall-to-wall news. We never even really had high-profile resignations like this under Iraq. And, I think the fact that you have...
And we should have.
High-level security official with the top security clearance saying this
Number
is
one.
Israel's war, that they manipulated the intelligence, that you're making a huge mistake, that they pose no imminent threat to the United States, you have to ask seriously how all of the lies that have been told by this White House. And I think second, what did he know to have to resign at this point? He knew no end in sight. And that's why he decided to do it now. So it is a stunning development to see right now.
Yeah, and
This is terrible. This is terrible. I think that Trump was manipulated by the Israel lobby. I just want to go on record and remind you guys that I'm not blaming Israel for any of the actions of American politicians, because I hold the American politicians responsible for what they do and how they behave. when it comes to America's best interest. And it was not Israel who pulled the trigger. It was Donald J. Trump who pulled the trigger. So this is squarely Donald Trump's fault for getting us into a war. I believe, maybe this is my just speculation, but I think that the campaign in Venezuela, that military operation, that was cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was cool as fuck. Seeing the U.S. military might go into a country, snatch a president and his baby mama up out of the mansion, with very few casualties, in and out. That was fucking impressive. I was so proud of my country in terms of, the ability, the military capabilities to do that. That was so, like, go America, right? And I think that they were feeling a high from that. But Iran's different. I think they also thought that they were going to just go in and get out and everything will be peachy keen. It's not like that. This is not a war that's going to end quickly. There will be many casualties. And I'm not saying it because I want that to be true. I'm saying it because it is true. It's common fucking sense. 1 + 1 = 2. No matter who your favorite fucking politician is or your favorite fucking party is in this nation, 1 + 1 = 2 all the time. And going into a country with multiple millions of people and military might, I'm not even covering the issue with the Strait of Hormuz, however you pronounce it. I'm not even going to cover that shit because that shit right there is wild. What the fuck did you think that Iran was going to do? Iran cannot win this war. Okay, let me be very clear. Iran cannot win this war. They can only survive. And they're going to be able to survive for a very long time while causing maximum damage to the entire world. And this all could have been prevented by just letting Israel do what the fuck they want to do and not supporting them in this war. Right? But here we are. So, that's my opinion on that. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. So let's read some comments. Hey Ryan, hey Harvey. Officer Tatum did a video on him earlier today. I'll have to watch it. I wouldn't say he's a traitor, but he's definitely inconsistent. He spent the last 10 years saying Iran is an existential threat to America, and then all of a sudden he changes his mind. I'm not aware of him saying that the last 10 years. But I'll have to look into that. Hey Leah, hey DPD. Nocho, it's not us being like a bully. It's like the US being in a bar when a bar fight breaks out and we joined in before we call a pool cue to the back of the head. No, that's wrong, Ryan. No, it is us being a bully because it's like being in a bar and a bar fight has not broke, but a bar fight hasn't broke out yet. It's like providing other people in the bar with weapons, knives, clubs, broken glass bottles, and then watching those people threaten other people and then be like, well, listen, if they attack the people that we provided weapons to, then we're going to have no choice but to attack them first and jump them first. That's what that's like. So no, we are the bullies. We are the ones providing the weaponry. We are the ones putting the battery in Israel's back to do what they're doing. I don't think anyone is surprised Iran has been attempting to retaliate. That's a lie, Ryan. I'm sorry. That is wrong. That is wrong. Trump just got done doing a press briefing when he said he was surprised about Iran's retaliation. He just got done saying this. So I don't know who you're talking to, Ryan, but the president of the United States, Trump, he's surprised. He's surprised by Iran's retaliation. They've been chanting death to America for the last 49 years. Well, I need you to talk to Trump and ask him why he's surprised. Why is he surprised by the retaliation? Should I go find that clip for you, Ryan? should I go find that clip for you? If I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can find a real clip. Like, what do you mean not surprised? What do you mean no one's surprised? Yeah, Trump is surprised. He's fucking surprised. What are you talking about? Oh God, I knew I should have saved that clip. Let me search. Okay, stop. Wait, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna find it. Wait, let me. I knew I should have fucking saved that clip. Cause I was stupefied. I was stupefied. Iran retaliate. I think it was Iran retaliation. How are you guys feeling overall about the war, though? Tell me that. What do you guys think about the war? Oh, it wasn't Forbes. It was the Wall Street Journal. I think it was the Wall Street Journal.
You said they hit.
Okay. So where are we? Yeah, okay. Here it is. Surprised by the retaliation. Trump says he was surprised by Iran's retaliation after U.S.-Israel strikes.
You said they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked. Are you surprised that nobody briefed you ahead of time that might be their retaliation?
No. The greatest experts, nobody thought they were going to hit. They were, I wouldn't say friendly countries. They were like neutral. They lived with them for years. Peter, they were going to take over the Middle East. They were going to knock out Israel with their nuclear weapon. But after we knocked out their nuclear potential weapon, they started building missiles, thousands and thousands of missiles. And they were going to do it with missiles while they developed. These are sick people. If I didn't terminate Barack Hussein Obama's...
I'm sick of talking about Obama. So let's play it again. And let me give you context, because what Trump did here was kind of a sleight of hand. When he brings up the Gulf states that were attacked, what he is not saying is that Iran targeted the U.S. military bases in those countries. The attacks were on our bases in the Middle East. Let's play it again.
You said they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked. Are you surprised that nobody briefed you ahead of time that might be their retaliation?
No. The greatest experts, nobody thought
No,
they were gonna hit.
nobody thought it.
I wouldn't say friendly countries. They were like neutral. They lived with them for years. Peter, they were going to take over the Middle East. They were going to knock out Israel with their nuclear weapon. But after we knocked out their nuclear potential weapon.
So, girl, stop. Everybody was surprised, apparently. So, apparently, Ryan, Everybody was surprised, according to Trump. All the experts were surprised in the way that Iran retaliated. And I have to say this, that Iran attacking all these targeting all these military bases in the Gulf states was perfect. It was perfect strategy for a desperate, disgusting government such as Iran, because what they're doing, they're sowing chaos and they're ruining reputations and relationships that we have with these Gulf states. Because, mind you, the entire reason we have military bases in all these Gulf states is to provide protection to them. The reason we are even allowed to be there, because we're great at, despite what people may think, our greatest ally is Saudi Arabia. It's not Israel in the Middle East. Our greatest ally is not Israel in the Middle East. It's Saudi Arabia. It's UAE. Like, the Gulf states are our greatest ally. It's Qatar. Those are our real amazing allies in the Middle East. It's not Israel. So the reason we were even allowed there to fucking begin with is to provide protection. And so what Iran did by attacking those military sites and bombs being, subverted by US and all over the fucking place, all the mass chaos, what it did is it lowered trust in US Middle Eastern relations. Because Dubai, I don't know if you guys know what went down in Dubai, but the influencers are gagged down in Dubai. Nobody's getting flew out to Dubai to get shit on anymore because of this shit. It's terrible. It's so fucking terrible. The influencer girls cannot get flew out to Dubai to get shit on anymore because of Trump's dumbass, right? You got influencers over down in Dubai crying about how this is not supposed to be happening here. Well, it's not, because Dubai is supposed to be one of the safest places that the rich can go and play and frolic in. And why is that? Because the US military bases are there to protect them, right? But Iran said, nah, bitch, y'all want to jump me? I'm about to cause all mass types of chaos. And that's exactly what they're doing, and that's exactly what anyone should have expected them to do. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't think anyone's surprised Iran has been attempting to retaliate? What do you mean? According to Trump, all the experts are surprised. You just heard him say it. Nobody debriefed him on that possibility. Let me play it again.
They hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked. Are you surprised that nobody briefed you ahead of time that might be their retaliation?
Nobody, no. The greatest.
Oh my god. That is funny. That is funny to me. Nobody expected it. I could have told you. Listen, they could have called me up and I would have told them that that's what Iran was going to do. The Strait of Hormuz, which ironically isn't straight. What are your views on China? I don't have many views on China. Officer Tatum has the receipts on Joe Kent. I'll have to watch it. Let me put it on Officer Tatum, Joe Kent. Here we go. Joe Kent portrays Trump. We got a bootlicker. Let's see. Let's see. Great food. I haven't seen the clip where he said he was surprised that Iran retaliated. Well, I just showed it to you. I mean, if he said that, he's a dumbass. The entire government is made up of terrorists. It's obvious what they do. Yeah. You're right. I think you're totally right. The war is a distraction from other things that they don't want us to see, like the Epstein files. Coincidence? I think not. I think they were surprised that Iran attacked civilians, military facilities in Bahrain, Kuwait, Wait, Ryan. But you can't have it both ways, Ryan. You just got done saying that the entire government is made up of terrorists. It's obvious what they do. Do terrorists attack civilians? Do terrorists attack civilians? Oh, the Joe Ken exposed. Okay, I'll put that on watch later. I'll watch that one later. So are they terrorists or are they not terrorists, Ryan? Because if they are terrorists, then why are you surprised that they attack civilians? Isn't that what makes them an existential imminent threat? That they are willing to attack civilians? We got it. Right? Right? Is that... Are they an imminent threat or are they not an imminent threat? Would they attack civilians or would they not attack civilians? Because if they're not attacking civilians, then how are they an imminent threat? See, the logic doesn't make sense for this war, Ryan. The people that are for this war, the logic is not consistent. That is precisely my problem, is that the logic is never consistent. So again, I ask you, why is it that Trump is saying that everybody was surprised that they would do this? That the terrorists, how are they surprised that the imminent existential threat to all of society would attack civilians and attack their neighbors? I'm telling you, please somebody make it sense to me. Make it make sense to me. I need it to make sense. They are definitely terrorists. I think it's surprising that it's basically a tactical blunder that just alienated them from their neighbors who were neutral in the conflict. I disagree with you, Ryan. I think it was the best thing they can do. Iran cannot win this war. They didn't start this war. And they can't win it. They are not stronger than the United States of fucking America. They're going to lose this war. Period. Iran will lose this war. It's a war of attrition, though. Right? And so, like I said before, the reason it was a good move is because they already don't, the neighbors they already don't like them. They already don't like them. Why are we pretending that Saudi Arabia and Iran are friendly? They're not friendly nations. In fact, a lot of people right now are saying that Saudi Arabia is the real pusher of this war, and it's not Israel, which is bonkers. Completely bonkers. They're saying that it was Saudi Arabia who pushed the U.S. into this war against Iran. That's a whole other thing. There are some interesting points about that theory that I can support and understand and be like, oh, that's actually a good point. I mean, Saudi Arabia is actually outside of Israel, it is Iran's biggest rival in the region, and so I can understand that viewpoint for sure. But let's not pretend like Iran was friendly with these nations at all. In fact, again, it is more important for them to hurt the U.S. relationship with these Gulf states than to maintain some type of positive relationship. Because what's going to happen? Let me tell you what's going to happen with these Gulf states. They now realize that U.S. military presence in their nations does them no favors. With Iran striking them, that does them no favors. Who's going to swoop in? China. China swoops in. And they're going to tell them, well, listen UAE, listen Saudi Arabia, listen Oman. We can put military bases there in your countries and you'll be fine. We'll protect you. We wouldn't let Iran do what they did to you. if you are Dubai, if you are UAE, if you're Saudi Arabia, why wouldn't that be an appealing proposition at this point? The military bases from the US ain't do shit to protect their civilians. Dubai's economy has been ruined. It's been ruined. This is something that will impact generations to come in Dubai because of the US, not because of Iran. They're not going to blame Iran. They're blaming USA. So, so I don't know, Ryan. I vehemently disagree with you on some issues here. I think Iran is doing exactly what they need to do. Sow chaos. They're terrorists. They're animals. They're beasts. It's in their nature to sow chaos. You think they give a fuck about allies? No. Stop. Let's stop. So that's what I have to say about tonight. Let me know what you guys think, but it's pretty crazy to me. Before I head out, I just want to ask you guys, what do you think about doing, pardon me, what do you guys think about me doing, reading over some of the comments? You know, reading some of the comments from past videos, I think would be interesting, don't you think? Right now, my video about Trump supporters being discriminated against in Ann Arbor, Michigan it's doing really well, by the way. It's gotten probably 500 views, which is a lot for me in just a few days, so I'm really excited about that. So that's interesting, but the comments have been unhinged, completely unhinged. I'm being attacked over and over and over for my views in the video, which I don't mind at all, 'cause I've been dragging the girls back in the comments. But would you guys want to see me respond to some of the comments live? Maybe that would be interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll read some of the comments for you guys. So I'll have to figure out how I'm going to format that for these live streams. So yeah. Honestly, Saudi Arabia being the pusher wouldn't surprise me at all. They hate Iran. Again, you'd have to convince me, but you wouldn't have to do much to convince me that Saudi Arabia maybe pushed a lot for this war. So yeah. Hey, Montana Chi, what's going on? I would love for you to read the comments. I'll read the comments. He resigned because, hey Gerald, thanks for the input. He resigned because he wasn't actually doing anything any longer. He was being investigated for leaking classified materials and wasn't allowed in classified briefings any longer. Well, that's convenient. Also, I'm pretty sure that Tulsi Gabbard is not involved in the briefings either. Which, again, it just goes on to show that they don't want any dissenting opinions. Trump does not handle dissenting opinions well at all. You have to suck his dick and guzzle his cum, or you will be fired. And even if you don't agree with him 100%, you can never voice that publicly. He not only commands and demands loyalty publicly, but he enforces it. But guys, we're gonna get going for tonight. It's been an hour. I might do a post show. How about I do a post show stream? If you guys want to hang out and watch me play some video games for a little bit, maybe I'll do 30 minutes of video games. I'll listen to some music. We'll do a post show. Yeah. But Gerald, thank you so much. I'm sure you just got here, but feel free to go back and rewatch the stream from the very beginning, where I did kind of my little presentation before I open it up to the comment section. But thank you for your contributions, guys. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the engagement. I'm having really a lot of fun doing so many live streams, and especially these horizontal live streams, I feel like I'm able to kind of like compose my thoughts and really convey my feelings, thoughts, and opinions on these topics. And I think that monetarily, it's already benefited me a lot. But I will say, the video I did about Israel doing the gang raping, the IDF soldiers and their charges being dropped, that video is already flopping. It's already being censored. I did show the leaked video footage of the soldiers assaulting the Palestinian detainee, and no one's commented on the video. So I know it's not being pushed out. So if you guys would do me a favor, go comment on the video, go watch the video, because it's already being blasted out into the negaverse. Yeah, post show for the members only. Members only post show. But okay, guys, thanks a lot, and I'll see the members soon for the post show. Bye.